Good morning, many blessings to you all this morning. I hope you've all rested well. I'm going to share a few things with you this morning, and I think first of all we will, I'd like to say a prayer and bring in the Ascended Masters of the highest Divine Light. So if you're just joining me, just say hi and where you're tuning in from. That's our morning introduction. And welcome to this morning's meditation space. A place to gently bring you into the day by sharing this space of meditation, poetry, words, truth. And as I'm speaking, you can see my breath. It's very cold in here. So we ask now from the highest divine light that our angels and archangels of the highest divine light draw close to us now. That the Ascended Masters, Enlightened Masters from the highest divine light draw close to us now. That our Reiki guides from the highest divine light draw close to us now. And I call upon the wisdom and presence of Osho, of Ramana Maharshi, of Buddha, Lahiri Mayasaya, Yogananda Paramahansa, Babaji, Papaji, Krishna, I ask that you will guide this session today with us all. From the highest divine light, I ask that we share in this space of wisdom and presence. Good morning, Nikki. And that I be of high service to you all this morning. And if you are just tuning in, please say hi and where you're tuning in from. I'm wrapped up in a blanket because it's actually freezing cold in here this morning, but it's lovely and bright, so I'm thankful for that. I'm going to start by reading one of the cards from the Osho Zen Tarot. That's these. I'm going to pick a card for all of us this morning, the message that we need to hear. The most important one for us all today as we gather here in sacred space, in meditation and grace. Morning, Adi. The card that I've picked up this morning is Control. So I'll read that to you all now. Controlled persons are always nervous because deep down turmoil is still hidden. If you are uncontrolled, flowing alive, then you are not nervous. There is no question of being nervous. Whatsoever happens, happens. You have no expectations for the future. You are not performing. Then why should you be nervous? To control that mind, one has to remain so cold and frozen that no life energy is allowed to move into your limbs, into your body. If energy is allowed to move, those repressions will surface. That's why people have learned how to be cold, how to touch others and yet not touch them, how to see people and yet not see them. People live with cliches. Hello, how are you? Nobody means anything. These are just to avoid the real encounter of two persons. People don't look into each other's eyes. They don't hold hands. They don't try to feel each other's energy. They don't allow each other to pour. Very afraid, somehow just managing cold and dead in a straitjacket. There is a time and a place for control, but if we put it in charge of our lives, we will end up totally rigid. The figure is encased in the angles of pyramid shapes that surround him. Light glitters and glints off his shiny surfaces, but does not penetrate. It's as if he is almost mummified inside the structure. He's built up around himself. His fists are clenched and his stare is blank, almost blind. The lower part of his body beneath the table is a knife point, a cutting edge that divides and separates. His world is ordered and perfect, but it is not alive. He cannot allow any spontaneity or vulnerability to enter it. The image of the King of Clouds reminds us to take a deep breath, loosen our neckties and take it easy. If mistakes happen, it's okay. If things get a little out of hand, it's probably just what the doctor ordered. There is much, much more of life than being on top of things. Let go of your need for control. Life has its own way of working everything out. Its own divine order, its own divine chaos. And in that chaos there is order, there is perfection. You do not have to work everything out. You do not have to hold on to things as they are in an attempt to keep them the same way, in an attempt to avoid something different. We can become so cozy and comfortable with our lives that as soon as any concept or idea of stability is threatened, we try to cling on. And we're clinging on to something that doesn't exist. There is no stability. There is no security. There is no foundation holding everything together. Security is an idea that comes from illusion, an illusion that's been created in society to make us believe that if we do this, if we do that, if we create this, if we create that, we have somehow got security, we are somehow stable, we have laid the foundations in order to build our lives upon them. Our lives are like a house of cards, a house built from cards. At any moment, those cards can come tumbling down. And the blessing is they can always be rebuilt in new ways, in more beautiful ways, in more imaginative ways. If we can allow life to be pulled from under us, if we can allow life to shift and transform and change, if we can remain flexible, there will always be miracles, there will always be beauty, there will always be wonder. The path of the sannyasin, or the disciple, or the one who is seeking is the path of letting go, the path of meditation, of not knowing, of being in the mystery, of allowing the mystery to unfold without holding on to it. Knowing that no control can be had over anything or anyone. This is very tricky for the mind, because the mind wants to know answers, it wants to know where it's going, what's happening next, who's doing what. It wants to figure everything out, and where it can't figure things out, it creates problems. And then it creates solutions to the problems it's created, tricking us into thinking it's being helpful. The mind will go on with its stories. That's what it does. And as you loosen your need for control, you loosen the hold on your mind, and the mind will go on creating the stories. But you will be the watcher of those stories. You won't be entangled in them. You won't try to figure them out. You will know your infinite nature. You will see that the thoughts are just a jumbled up idea of beliefs and conditionings and concepts and constructs that may have been useful to you at some point in your life, possibly when you were 7, and now they are no longer useful, and in fact those ideas and concepts and beliefs can often hold us back. They were devised as a protective measure, something that we created in order to keep ourselves safe as children. And as we grow older, as our bodies change and mature and our experience widens, those structures we built around ourselves are actually keeping love out of our lives, experience out of our lives. Those structures that once kept us safe with this idea of security actually become the only barrier between ourselves and our growth. Enlightenment, awakening, is the destruction of all those barriers, of all those thoughts, concepts, ideas and constructs that we have built against ourself. And through discovering the truth of who you are, all those barriers, boundaries must come down like a pack of cards, like the house of cards that I mentioned, so that something can be rebuilt, renewed, transformed, transmuted, connected, so that a new perception of life and yourself and what this is all about can be birthed into reality. Awakening is not for the faint-hearted. It is not a field full of roses. Or a tree-lined avenue. It is the destruction of all that you hold dear. All the structures you have built. All the security you have built up inside of you. All the notions that you have about what this is, who you are, the roles you play, the attachment that you've put on those. We become attached to all kinds of identities. The victim, the unloved, the hurt, the ill, the abused. None of these things are who we are. What you truly are cannot be spoken. What you truly are lies in the silence of the mind. What you are is the space that opens up in meditation. Meditation is your true nature. A space of no mind, no time, no concepts, no beliefs. Contentment, peace and joy with all that is, as it is. Please do feel free to share this. I can't share it while I'm speaking, unfortunately, but you guys can. There is a myth. You become awakened, enlightened, and life becomes a rainbow. No, you are in a body, you are a human being, spirit in body, in form, embodied here. Emotions will run through you. Life will move through you. God will guide you. But you won't need to do anything. You will not need to control things. You will notice there is a spontaneous, effortlessness happening. You will know when to move, you will know when to go towards anything. you become more in tune, more connected with life, trusting life to guide you, trusting God's intelligence, the intelligence of all to guide you, as it always is in every moment. Grace is moving through your life. Whether you realize it or not, every single thing that is happening, no matter how big or small, how miraculous or unmiraculous it may seem, is perfect and divine and is leading you here, is leading you home. The conditions are just right. Just right for your growth. Just right for your freedom, for your realization. It's so beautiful. And if you are concerned about fear, fear is just a thought. And in the moment, grace will take all your fear away. You will be like a child in Wonderland, like Alice in Wonderland. Drinking everything in, eyes wide open, heart wide open, mind wide open. As the truth pours into every cell in your being, you will not question it. There will be no questions. There will only be answers. Answers tumbling in from the universe. And there is no goal, there is no end goal. You will not get there, and that is it. You are here. There is no there to get to. You have always been and will always be here. It is and will always be now. This is your opportunity, here and now. There's nothing to wait for. There are no right conditions. Awakening, enlightenment, self-realization is here now. It is open to you, to all of you. It is your natural state of being. It is not separate from you. It does not belong to anybody else. It does not belong to anybody. There is no attachment there. It simply is. You simply are. Perfect, whole, divine. Magical mystery. You can imagine whatever you like. You can create whatever you want. Right here, right now, we've all called each other into being. We have come here through a process of grace. Every moment has guided us here. What a gift. Breathe it all in. Take a deep breath in. Breathe it all in. The magic, the mystery. God. Truth and oneness. We're going to go into some silence now. If anybody has any questions, please post a comment below. I'm going to ring my bell and get comfortable. Make sure you're not going to be disturbed. Although sounds are... We can meditate in sound. We're going to take some silence now for a few moments. Just breathing easily and gently, allowing everything to soften, moving into the silence of being. Thank you, everybody, for sharing this sacred space this morning, for starting the day in this sacred, loving way to ourselves and others, and sending our energy out into the universe, into the cosmos, and making the commitment to ourselves to be the light that we already are and to shine that light as brightly as we can. If anybody would like to send me a question about this morning's meeting, please post something on the comments below. I'm also open to for one-to-one Skype sessions and one-to-one meetings in person too, and I would like to make people aware of that possibility. So please do contact me, connect with me. If you see this and you're living abroad somewhere, please feel free to add me as a friend. I do have some spaces on Facebook. So much love and many blessings to you all. Have a beautiful day filled with miracles and peace.